I'm ready.
Great. And you're gonna make
Will all members of the council, as well as the public, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation this evening will be offered by Father Boutros Boutros of the St. Mina Christian Church, guest of Councilmember Devet Blaylock.
Thank you. Will you please bow your heads as we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, let us begin by thanking you. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. As you have taught us in the Holy Scriptures, let every soul be subject to the governing authorities. For there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, we thank you for choosing us and giving us the honor and the opportunity to serve the people of our great city. St. Paul said to his disciple Timothy, therefore I exhort first of all that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings and all who are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and reverence, for this is good and acceptable in the sight of God our Savior. Therefore we pray for our mayor, for all the city officials, and a special prayer for this assembled council. We are asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern according to what pleases you, not what is acceptable to the people amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times. A sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting to your truth, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is a difference of opinion, personal peace in their lives and joy in their task. In the name of your beloved Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of those members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for adoption of the minutes of the meeting of February 7th, 2017? Without objection, those minutes will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, is there any communication from the mayor?
There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We now move to elections and confirmations. Councilman Schulman, is there a report from the Rules, Confirmation, and Public Elections Committee?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council. You know, it just wouldn't be a full council meeting unless there was a report. So we are always happy to oblige. We actually had a very full meeting. It was a very good discussion. We had a lot of appointments and some reappointments, and here we go. Metropolitan Action Commission, the appointment of Dr. Osman Gabur for a term expiring February 2nd, 2019. The Rules Committee reviewed and approved that one for 6-4, 0 against, and I would move for approval.
You've heard the motion for confirmation of Dr. Osman Gabur to the Metropolitan Action Commission. It's properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Metropolitan Arts Commission, appointment of Ms. Jackie Daniel for a term expiring January 1st, 2021. Reappointment Mr. Larry Keaton for a term expiring January 1st, 2021. Appointment of Ms. Danielle McDaniel for a term expiring January 1st, 2019. The reappointment of Mr. Jim Smith for a term expiring January 7th, 2021. And the appointment of Mr. Marcus Whitney for a term expiring January 1st, 2021. We grilled them all about how they could improve the arts in our city. They all agreed to do that, and we approved them all 6-4, 0 against, and I would move for approval on all 5 of them.
You've heard the motion for confirmation of Ms. Jackie Daniel, Mr. Larry Keaton, Ms. Danielle McDaniel, Mr. Jim Schmidt, and Mr. Marcus Whitney to the Metropolitan Arts Commission. It's properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Board of Equalization, one of the tougher appointments, and we gave both of these appointments the chance to sneak out before we approved them, and both of them stayed. They may not be in the back, though. They may have had a chance to sneak out, but I think they're both here. Appointment for Ms. Lynn Brandmeier for a term expiring April 1st, 2018, and the appointment of Ms. Glenda Chambers for a term expiring April 1st, 2018. They have the work cut out for them. We reviewed both of them. Both of them agreed to serve, approved them 6-4-0 against, and I would move for approval on both.
You've heard the motion for for confirmation of the appointment of Ms. Lynn Brandmeier and Ms. Glenda Chambers to the Board of Equalization. It's properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Shulman.
And this is the last one, Mr. Vice Mayor. Fire and Building Codes Appeals Board. This one took us the most time because we weren't sure about the qualifications of the candidate. This is the appointment of Mr. Mike Turner, former state representative, for a term expiring March 1st, 2020. We put him under a series of very, very difficult questions. A couple of people had been called in. Security was called, but in the end, we all approved him 6-4-0 against, and I would move for approval.
You've heard the motion for confirmation of Mr. Mike Turner to the Fire and Building Codes Appeals Board. It's been properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Turner, you do actually have a couple of friends out there. They voted against you. But the motion carries anyway. So what we would like to thank and recognize all the citizens who have been confirmed tonight. If you will please stand as I call your name and remain standing until all of you have been introduced, I would appreciate it. To the Metropolitan Action Commission, Dr. Osman Gabor. To the Metropolitan Arts Commission, Ms. Jackie Daniel. Mr. Larry Keaton, who I think had to step out early. Ms. Daniel McDaniel. Mr. Jim Schmidt and Mr. Marcus Whitney. To the Board of Equalization, Ms. Lynn Brandmeier and Ms. Glenda Chambers. And to the Fire and Building Codes Appeal Board, the very honorable Mr. Mike Turner. Thank you very much. We do appreciate your service and willingness to dedicate yourself to this city. I'm just gonna teach, I'm not gonna try and prove it, I'm not gonna try and out-think them. Ready? That brings us to resolutions on public hearing. RS 2017-554, Councilman Withers, exempts Wild Cow LLC located at 1896 Eastland Avenue from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit. Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to open the public hearing, please.
All those in favor of RS 2017-554, please raise your hands. All those opposed? Seeing only one, declare the public hearing closed. Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Could I get committee reports, please?
Council Lady Roberts.
The Beer and Public Safety voted 5 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. With all committees in, is there another? With all committee reports in and with the public hearing closed, I'd like to move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. I did not see you raise your hand. I'm sorry. We were on to the next agenda item. That brings us to the consent agenda. That brings us to the consent agenda. The following items are on the consent agenda. I'm sorry, ma'am, you're out of order. You're out of order, ma'am. Madam. Not yet. Okay, I'm going to stop you just for a second. Okay. And, ma'am. You won't let me speak. You won't let me speak. How can I say anything? You won't stop talking for a minute. Now, let me start by saying, excuse me? This group of people is very respectful of your opinion. We come every 2 weeks and we have public hearings and listen to all kinds of opinions about lots of different things. We have already had one hearing on driving while black. We have another one scheduled in March. We are listening, and let me finish. I stood with the district attorney last week and asked that the investigation be moved to the TBI. So to come here and treat us all like no one is paying attention is disrespectful. Now, there are many of you that... Now, see, I let you speak. Now, we need to move on with our meeting. And we do not have a public hearing scheduled tonight for this issue. But I am sure that, okay, March 7th, we have a meeting scheduled, and you're more than welcome to come to that. No. Meeting is adjourned for 5 minutes. Please clear the audience. 517, Council Lady Henderson. Request the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency to update and revise its initial tax. seat, I will bring the meeting back to order. If everyone will have a seat, I will bring the meeting back to order. Council members, please have a seat. Council members, please have a seat. Will the meeting please come to order? If you'll have a seat, the meeting will come to order. If you will not have a seat, you will be removed. If you will have a seat, Ms. Greenlee, I have shown you especially a lot of patience. Have a seat, Ms. Greenlee. Have a seat, please. Council Lady Johnson. Council Lady Johnson. Council Lady Johnson, you are recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval to have a 20-minute comment period at the end of the agenda this evening.
We have rules here so that we can conduct the people's business, believe it or not, on your behalf many times. And I will expect those rules to be followed for the remainder of the meeting. The next time the rules are violated, the chamber will be cleared and the meeting will be adjourned. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to the consent agenda. RS 2000, the following items are on the consent agenda. RS 2017-517, 555 through 565, 567 through 570. Council Lady Mina Johnson, which was yours? Should not be on the consent. And 568 is not on the consent agenda. Any other items to be pulled from the consent agenda? Seeing none, if you'll bear with me while I read the consent agenda. RS 2017-517, Council Lady Henderson requests the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency to update and revise its official tax increment financing development priorities for the downtown core, including the Arts Center, Capitol Mall, Phillips Jackson, and Rutledge Hill development districts. RS 2017-555, Councilman Cooper, Karen Johnson, and Councilman Scott Davis approves a grant from the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund, Incorporated, to the Metro Financial Empowerment Center to pilot a new set of savings milestones and outcomes, train counselors to discuss savings goals, record client savings information, and assess the results. RS 2017-556, Cooper, Gilmore, and others approves a grant agreement between Oasis Center and the Metro government for services that help youth grow, thrive, and create positive change in their lives and in our community. RS 2017-557 approves a grant from the State Justice Institute to the Metropolitan Nashville Juvenile Court to provide funding to obtain expert assistance to diagnose a problem, develop a response to that problem, and initiate implementation of the needed changes. RS 2017-558, Cooper and Henderson approves a grant from the U.S. Department of Justice to the Office of Family Safety to fund a high-risk court advocate and General Sessions Court probation officer to increase advocacy services to high-risk victims and create a high-risk probation program for offenders. RS 2017-559, Cooper and Pardue approves a Middle Tennessee ICAC task force grant from the State Department of Finance and Administration to the Metro Nashville Police Department to continue funding for the Internet Crimes Against Children Unit. RS 2017-560, Cooper and Pardue, approves a Homeland Security grant from the State Emergency Management Agency to the Office of Emergency Management to fund costs related to Homeland Security preparedness. RS 2017-561, O'Connell, Cooper, and others, approves an agreement between Metro Government and Bethel University to provide educational opportunities to Metro Government employees. RS 2017-562, Cooper, Gilmore, and Allen, approves a grant from Boulevard Bolt Incorporated to Metro Social Services Commission to benefit the House Nashville program to aid homelessness. RS 2000, excuse me. RS 2017-563, Coleman, Cooper, and Elrod, authorizes Metro Government to enter into an agreement with the Gladeville Utility District to provide information needed to bill customers for sewerage service in Davidson County. RS 2017-564, Dowell, Elrod, and Allen, approves an intergovernmental agreement between the State Department of Transportation and the Department of Public Works for a traffic signal at I-24 eastbound exit ramp at Bell Road. RS 2017-565, Councilman Davis, Mendez, and Henderson, requests the Metro Board of Parks and Recreation to correct and or update the name of Fred Douglass Park, located at 210 North 7th Street as Frederick Douglass Park. RS 2017-567, Cooper and Mendez, recognizes Robert C. Brannon. RS 2017-569, Council Lady Mina Johnson, recognizes the 10th anniversary of Tennessee Area Japanese Speech Contest. And RS 2017-570, Council Lady Mina Johnson and Murphy, recognizes March 3rd, 2017 as Mediation Day in Nashville, Tennessee. And let's see, committee reports. Councilman Cooper, Budget and Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, and thank you. The Budget and Finance Committee met today and approved 517-12-0, and then resolutions 555 through 563, all 12-0. Thank you very much.
Education, Councilman Kendall.
Education Committee approves 7-0.
Council Lady Gilmore, Health, Hospitals, and Social Services.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Health, Hospitals, and Social Services recommended 6-4 and 0 against.
Parks, Library, Recreation, Council Lady Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Parks, Library, and Recreation for Resolution 556 and 565, recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against.
Personnel, Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The Personnel, Public Information, Human Relations, and Housing Committee met today and recommended approval of Resolution RS 2017-561, 5-4-0 against.
Council Lady Allen, Planning and Zoning.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, and Historical recommended RS 2017-564, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Public Safety, Council Lady Roberts.
Public Safety, Beer, and Regulated Beverages voted on 559, 560, 584, and 587, 5 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilman Elrod, Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Public Works recommend for approval resolutions 563 and 564, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilman Elrod. Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The Rules Committee had resolution 567, 568, 569, and 570. Approved all those 5-4, 0 against. I believe all the committee reports are in. I would move for approval on all resolutions on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda is properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us back to RS 2017-566. Councilman Scott Davis expresses the Metropolitan Council support for the Medical Cannabis Access Act currently pending before the Tennessee General Assembly. Councilman Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Rules defer that one meeting, 540 against.
Councilman.
I'd like to move for one meeting deferral with a very brief explanation.
Floor is yours.
This is one of those bills where we have bipartisan support at the state capitol. Medical marijuana has been able to help those with sickle cell anemia, cancer, and especially in my family, me personally, you know, knowing kids that have gone through with seizures and other forms of diseases that can be treated. And right now we have both sides of the aisle, Republican and Democrat, in support. And so we want to run another resolution honoring both sides of the aisle working together. And I just want to thank my colleagues for their support. And medical cannabis, you know, is one way that we can all help our brothers and sisters who are suffering from sickle cell anemia, cancer, seizures, and lots of other diseases. Also, it helps with, you know, with opiate addictions because it's not as addictive. Actually, it's not addictive at all when you use the oil. And more importantly, it can save a lot of money medically. And I just want to thank everybody for their support and helping me get this right. Thank you.
This is a motion to defer one meeting. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. RS 2017-568, Council Lady Mina Johnson, Leonardo, and others, recognizes February 19th, 2017 as a day of remembrance commemorating the historical significance of Executive Order 9066 and the shared sense that discrimination against any individual based upon actual or perceived race, ethnicity, national origin, or religion would be a repetition of the mistakes made of Executive Order 9066. Council Lady Mina Johnson.
Vice Mayor, committee report, please.
Councilman Shulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Rules approve that one, 540 against.
Council Lady Johnson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. If I may have a little personal privilege, some of you may know Executive Order 9066 was passed 75 years ago. This Sunday was 75th anniversary of that executive order. And with my request, our Human Relations Executive Director, Mel Fowler Green, drafted the resolution for me. And also, I would like to recognize a couple of Human Relations Commission's members here, Dr. Marissa Richmond, and also Ms. Phyllis Fildren is here. So if I may recognize the commissioners being in here in support of the resolution. Thank you for being in here. And also, I would like to have special thank you to our Mayor, Megan Berry. She passed a proclamation for recognizing this day as Day of the Remembrance. I really appreciate her support and ensuring Nashville is a welcoming city, regardless of race, ethnicity, perceived, religious. So we as a city have no discrimination and ensuring. I really appreciate everybody's support and co-sponsor, and I just want to take a moment to recognize. Oh. So some of you may don't know what the 9066 is. That is, that day, President Franklin Roosevelt, under Executive Order 9066, detained about 120,000 Japanese Americans. Even though they are American citizens, they detained and camped because of the Hawaii Pearl Harbor action. So after that, under the Executive Order 9066, about 120 Japanese American was detained and encamped. And since then, President General Ford formally rescinded Executive Order in February of 1976. The purpose of this resolution is just recognize those kind of mistake will never happen because we need to learn from the mistake from the past so we can move forward. Not condemn the act. Of course, the action was a mistake, and we all know that now. But because of, those hate, discrimination has no place in not only in Nashville, but in this United States or in this entire earth. I just want to keep saying it. And if everybody keeps saying there's discrimination is no place, so this is a great start. So for that, I would like your support to approve this bill.
This motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Council Lady Roberts. Council Lady Weiner. All right. Bills on introduction and first reading. Without objection, we'll take all bills on introduction and first reading together. Seeing none, is there a motion? Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to bills on second reading. Bill 2016-433, Councilman Cooper, Allen, and Elrod approves the transfer of the franchise rights held by Nashville Data Link, LLC to Windstream KDL, LLC. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Is there a committee report from Public Works?
I believe Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend for approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you. I would move for approval.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-580, Councilman O'Connell, Gilmore, and Hurt. Amends the Metro Code authorizing the creation of a downtown central business improvement district and appointing a corporation to act as an advisory board to the district with the necessary powers and authority to carry out the purposes and intent of the district. Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval. Oh, sorry. I'd like to request committee reports, please.
Councilman Cooper.
Thank you. Budget and Finance voted for approval, 13-4-0 against.
Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-582, Councilman Leonardo. Am I skipping you, Councilman Schulman? I am. You looked like I was. Sorry. BL 2017-581, Councilman Schulman. Amends our Metro Code to grant full investigative authority to the Metro Auditor in order to allow for independent audits and reviews of all Metro government departments, boards, and commissions, as well as performance of contracts by entities that contract with the Metro government. Councilman Schulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Thank you for coming back to me. I appreciate that. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted 13-4-0 against this afternoon.
Councilman Schulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Rules Committee deferred at the request of the sponsor, which is me, one meeting, and I would move for deferral for one meeting with just a very brief explanation.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. So there was a good discussion in budget on this one. This is just simply giving some authority to the Metropolitan Auditor to actually be able to investigate, to do his work. Apparently, one thing was left out of the bill, and so what we would like to do is defer it one meeting so we can get the amendment proper, and we'll bring it back next time. Renew my motion.
Motion to defer one meeting is properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 2017-582, Councilman Leonardo, amends the Metro Code pertaining to the sale of public property. Councilman Leonardo.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted 13-4-0 against.
There you go. Councilman Leonardo.
I'd like to move for approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-583, Council Lady Allen, amends the Metro Code regarding dedication of a portion of transient occupancy privilege taxes generated by short-term rental properties to the Barnes Fund for Affordable Housing. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilman Bedney.
The Ad Hoc Affordable Housing Committee supported this 8-4-0 against.
Councilman Cooper.
The Budget and Finance Committee voted 13-4-0 against.
Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The Personnel, Public Information, Human Relations, and Housing Committee met this afternoon and recommended approval. 4 in favor, 0 against, 1 abstention.
Thank you. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval with a brief explanation.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. Just to explain that this is simply moving the reference to where the 1% that is derived from short-term rental that goes to the Barnes Fund. There's a reference to an incorrect section. It's simply housekeeping to make the reference to the correct section where that information now lies. So with that, I renew my motion for approval.
Thank you, Council Lady. Council Lady Roberts, you want to be marked as abstaining? Thank you. With that one exception, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-584, Councilman Pardue and Rosenberg. Amends the Metro Code pertaining to the alcoholic content of beer. Councilman Rosenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Roberts.
The Beer and Public Safety voted 5 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Rosenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. 2017-585, Council Lady Weiner and Rosenberg. Amends the Metro Code regarding miscellaneous animal control regulations. Council Lady Weiner.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to defer 1 meeting.
Let's get our committee report first.
I apologize.
Council Lady Gilmore. 585.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Health, Hospitals, and Social Services Committee voted at the request of the sponsor to defer 5, 4, and 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady. Council Lady Weiner.
Now I would like to move to defer 1 meeting, please.
There's a motion to defer 1 meeting. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-586, also Council Lady Weiner. Amends the Metro Code regarding the application of animal control regulations beyond the Urban Services District. Council Lady Weiner.
Let's do something novel and get a committee report this time.
There you go. Council Lady Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Health, Hospitals, and Social Services voted at the request of the sponsor a deferral. 5, 4, and 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady. Council Lady Weiner.
And I would like to move this one for deferral 1 meeting.
Motion to defer 1 meeting. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-587, Councilman Leonardo. Amends the Metro Code to exempt owners of stolen vehicles from towing fees for recovered stolen vehicles. Councilman Leonardo.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance accepted the sponsor's motion to defer the bill indefinitely.
Floor is yours, Councilman. I'm sorry. We have also Council Lady Roberts. 587.
Public Safety and Beer voted 5 for, 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilman Leonardo.
This time I'd make a motion to defer indefinitely.
Motion to defer indefinitely is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-589. Councilman Syracuse, Van Rees, and others authorizes the Industrial Development Board to accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to the Opryland Hotel and Convention Center, and to extend the period for allocating certain hotel taxes to the funding of the cost of flood-related repairs and renovations to the Grand Ole Opry House, and to accept the donation of 2 parcels of property for use in Metro government's public park system. Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted 13-4-0 against.
Council Lady Van Rees. I'm sorry. No, you should be. Okay, I'm sorry. Council Lady Hurd.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The Conventions, Tourism, and Public Entertainment Facilities Committee voted in favor, 4 and 0 against.
All right. Council Lady Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Parks, Library, and Recreation Committee voted and recommend approval, 6 in favor, 1 against.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 9 in favor, 1 opposed.
Thank you, Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. Councilman Schulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council. I'm not going to say a lot because we had a long discussion about this in the Budget Committee. I I will tell you that I still have some concerns, so I think there's a negative vote out there anyway, so I believe this will be on the board. But what I'm concerned about is trying to determine, there was a lot of discussion about how these tax abatements actually do good things for the city overall, because they can generate sales tax and jobs. And I think that's wonderful, and I know there's a report out there that actually does that. I believe Dr. Fox did it with the University of Tennessee. The concern here that I expressed in the committee was that we're allowing, through a tax abatement, we're helping a private entity, one that's really important to us, to build something, basically a phenomenal water park that unfortunately, or the way that it works, that the citizens of Nashville won't be able to use. It's for the hotel itself. There are benefits, I know. We heard about that in the meeting. My question, I guess, is to Mr. Wilshire. I know this is on second reading. Have we gone back for some of the things that we have done in this city in terms of giving or providing abatements or providing economic incentives? Have we gone back to study whether these things actually do what they say they're going to do? And that's a difficult question because there's lots of these things. But I guess the question is, we know what the tax abatement is going to be, but we don't know what the economic impact is going to be overall. I mean, we can look at the report, but that's a report. So are there studies that indicate whether these things are successful or not? And can you provide them to the council, I guess, if we have these types of studies? So when we go into the final vote, we actually have some confidence that this might work.
Sure. Great question. And we actually are in the process now of going back for the deals that the council has passed and checking the job counts versus what were expected at the time. Now, there are a variety of different metrics, and I probably don't want to take up too much time discussing the intricacies of this. In a number of the deals, the expected benefit is actually substantially lower. In Councilman Freeman's district, Oberto Foods, by one example, the cost to the taxpayers, if you will, the abatement has actually come in substantially lower because the ultimate assessment of the building in this case was lower, and so the cost was much lower. And that's a complicated transaction where there were jobs, and then Oberto backed out, but Harry's Fresh Food stepped in. So there's not an easy answer, but in a number of the cases, yes, they have been wildly successful. And I will provide to this council at least a job count and then additional follow-up on other questions that you may have. We're in the process of creating, with the finance department, a public report that says what was the expected value, what was the expected value to date, right? Because some of these things run, 10 or more years. What's the actual value to date? What were the number of jobs that were expected, and what are the actual number of jobs achieved? And I've recently met with HCA, and I can say at least for the piece that was associated with the data center, the job count from the actual jobs realized from that investment have been substantially exceeded the expectations. And in most of the other cases, that's been the case. A number of the deals, of course, are too soon, right? So Bridgestone is still building their buildings, so we don't have numbers for those. But in the ones that we have to date, I think actually in all of them to date, with the exception of Oberto Foods, the job counts have exceeded the expectations. And in most, if not all the cases, the costs have come in lower. Now, one like UBS is a little bit different because it's just cash per job. So there's an accountability provision built in where you're just paying for the jobs that we get. But we'll provide all of that to the council as soon as we can get all the information.
And Mr. Vice Mayor, I'll just follow up. I know there's been a lot of, we've been doing this for years, and it's a good thing for the city and many times, and sometimes I'm not sure if it's a good thing. But if you can get us that report, that would be very helpful for making those determinations. So thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. And I think, as was referred to by my previous colleague, I'm going to be voting against this tonight. And I want to just give a brief explanation why. As part of this deal, we are freezing property taxes for a certain period of time, and the property will take the 2017 reassessment rate, whatever that may be, but then we will freeze it for a certain period of time after that. It is difficult for me to go back to the district I represent, in which we are going to have a pretty significant property tax hit. And under the system that we have, to change the property tax freeze, to change the level or the age limit, requires basically a state constitutional amendment. But we can do deals like this with votes in the council. And I'm not saying that any of us are responsible for that system, but that's the system we're under. And quite frankly, it's not a system that I feel comfortable supporting. It's going to be difficult for me to look my residents in the eye, especially if they miss that freeze window in the next couple of months, and tell them that I did everything that I could, but then created a different standard for somebody else. So with that in mind, I don't wish to change anyone's mind here, but I just wanted to get my rationale for my vote no. Thank you.
Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. To follow Councilman Sledge with a roll call vote on this, I just wanted to make a few quick points. That it's not the worthiness of the beneficiary. We appreciate the Ryman and value their presence here in Nashville. They're a wonderful professional model group. However, it's a really, really big swimming pool for a really, really big hotel that no one in the county can use. And a powerful interest has gotten a tax deal that frankly is unavailable to the average business. Now we're being asked to change the rules so they won't be collecting property taxes on this project, our most important source of revenue, but the rest of us will be paying the extra cost that development brings. There may be new employees, but their children will need good schools too, and we have to figure out a way of paying for them. Thank you.
Councilor Weiner.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm actually going to rise to support this, and let me share why. When we work with area businesses, we see that the strongest businesses diversify their portfolios in such a way as to create investment, to create revenue. And this is actually another example of that. In fact, I think that our return on investment for this particular position that we take on this bill, 589, is such that we're going to see a good return on our investment, and it's not a big investment as compared to some of the ones that we've done. So, you know, we need to capitalize on the opportunity to bring in substantial revenues to offset the expenses associated with our growth, to hopefully offset any eventual property taxes that we may have to pay down the road, because we are diversifying our portfolio as a city. We are looking for increased revenues so that our taxpayers don't have to foot the bill. And so if you look at the additional $120-some-odd million that we were able to realize last budget cycle, that wasn't done in a vacuum. That was created by a diversified portfolio. And so I rise to support this, and I hope that you will join me in doing so. Thank you.
Councilor Van Rees.
Thank you very much. I want to apologize for my tourism and convention committee for not being able to attend the meeting earlier this afternoon. I did co-sponsor this legislation with Mr. Syracuse for a handful of reasons. Number one, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Nashville is one of the best staycation cities in the world. And to say that we do not have access to this is a falsehood. Anybody can stay at this hotel and enjoy it, just like anybody could stay at the Omni and enjoy it, just like anybody could stay anywhere and enjoy it. So please understand that. I also really am excited because of the relationship between the Madison community and the Donaldson community continues to thrive. I am confident that a number of these new employees will come from District 8. I am confident that the access, which has not been discussed, of the park, the land that we're getting, this is a portion of Cumberland River that generations have wanted access to. To say that, well, it's not worth much or it's just a little piece of property is not giving the Cumberland River its respect on our side of the Cumberland River. So I want to make sure that it's clear that that generosity in regard to the greenways and in regard to the access to the folks in my council member Pride Morris District in District 9 and in future generations in regard to that part of the Cumberland is going to be affected by this deal as well. I am very excited to be able to live in a city that has companies that don't only take from the community, they give to the community, and this is a prime example of that. I can in no way limit my respect for this opportunity and have an organization like this not be respected in regard to its efforts for a long time. Nashville continues to be one of the best places in the world because of the folks at the Ryman and the former Gaylord. So I rise in respect to my colleagues in regard to some current concerns philosophically over the deal, but this is not the deal to have those concerns on. Thank you.
Councilman Scott Davis.
I rise in support of Gaylord Opryland. However, I want to remind the council members, of course, Donaldson and Madison area. I want to remind North Nashville. I want to remind South Nashville. I like this deal because we could do the same thing. And members out there in the community ask for the jobs, okay? They're not just entry level. There's management positions, accounting positions. Ask for the jobs. Do deals like this in your own neighborhoods. You know, Matt Wilshire is very open-minded. He's intelligent. And more importantly, though, he's willing to do stuff like this for people in other communities and other large businesses. So people out there listening in the audience, talk to your council members, and we need to do more deals like this for other areas of Nashville. I'm in support. Gaylord is a great company. They had a minor issue, which they took care of and addressed it thoroughly with some other things, nothing to deal with this, which impressed me a great deal. However, though, we need to structure similar deals like this in other neighborhoods. So when I tell the community, or when I tell the people in the crowd, ask for the jobs, ask to do similar deals like this, you know, with the mayor's office, with the Economic Advisory Council, with your council members, or grab any of these wonderful at-large council members to help you structure something like this. I want a tax abatement for not just, you know, Gaylord Opryland, but other large corporations, other large businesses, and small businesses too. And I'm asking you, vote for this, because when you need it in your district, I want to be there. When you're trying to hire the people in North, South, and parts of East Nashville that have been neglected, you know, this is what we need. I like this, but we need to do these deals, not just for Gaylord Ryman, which is wonderful, but we need to do it for other companies that help the little people too. And I know Mr. Wilshire and his staff and the mayor's staff are willing to look at it and do the same thing. Ask for it. You know, support this, but ask for it for your district, because I'm going to ask. And I hope you support me when we ask. And I will support you when you ask. And I will support all of you. But ask for the jobs. Thank you.
Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. You know, I think it's kind of important to say that we have a very good partner with Gaylord. We have a corporate partnership that is being extremely sensitive to understand what exactly it means to the Donaldson and Hermitage community, especially because there's a number of children, number of young adults that work at Nashville Shores that don't have to worry about are they going to lose their job, because Gaylord is being sensitive to make sure they don't step on their toes. I know Councilman Roten and Councilman Syracuse have met, and I know Gaylord has gone out of their way. Yes, it will keep additional tourists in town for maybe another day or 2 or 3 days, which we need to understand that Gaylord over the years has been the #1 tax revenue source for us in the hospitality industry. So I appreciate the sensitivity that they've shown in this. I appreciate the good steward that they are for our community, and I also appreciate that they're wanting to preserve the local jobs as well as create additional local jobs at this facility. So I will support it, and I appreciate them being a great partner.
Councilman Pulley. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate that. Thank you to all my colleagues. Many of the comments are very well spoken. I also want to give a shout out to Councilman Sledge. I understand that position, very well spoken position on the property taxes that we're dealing with now. I do want to make the point that these deals are evaluated on the merits of each individual deal. This is not a sweetheart deal for a particular developer just so we can bring along a water park. We look at many things in the economic study that we do and the formula that we create to determine whether or not this is going to benefit the city and whether we're going to get something out of this. Sure, we're given a tax abatement from him over a short period of time, but in addition to that, we're getting jobs and we're getting many other things. And there's also a goal in this, and the goal here is to try to also extend the visits of people who come to Nashville. So those who might only come for a day or two, this creates a scenario in which that they can stay more than 1 or 2 days and maybe make that extended vacation to turn into 4, 5, 6, and 7 days, and that also ultimately benefits the city. So this is a deal that is a good two-way thing, but very good for the city, and I think each and every one of these deals stands on their own merit, and I'm sure Mr. Wilshire does his homework to make sure that we end up ultimately getting that benefit. So thank you very much.
Council Lady Mina Johnson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I too rise in support of this bill. What we are talking about when we say tax abatement, generally people will think Metro will take the money out of our pocket and give it to some entity. This is not the case. The Ryman Hospitality will continuously pay tax on the existing building portion. What we are giving a little break is the future expansion portion, which Ryman will spend $80 or $90 million. So for that portion, we will not give a little break. So for that portion property tax, we will not have several years. However, if Ryman does not build 80, 90 million, it will be zero tax dollar on zero expansion. So for that sense, we are not losing any money. And considering the community involvement and the community support we are getting from Ryman Hospitality and future benefit of hiring and so forth, I think we are not losing money, but a benefit is larger than investment. For that reason, I support this bill.
Councilman Anthony Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Don't want to repeat everything that's been said, so I'll just say I'm supportive and appreciate everybody voting for this. Thank you, Matt, for all you've put into this, and I think it's a good deal. Thanks.
Council Lady Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I had spoke earlier in committee meeting about the 20% DB and minority participation, and I was happy to see that Michelle Lang, who's the Chief Diversity Officer here for the city of Nashville, did send me a text during that time and said that they are working on a comprehensive program with Opryland Gaylord. So I look forward to hearing more about that and working with them, and I'm glad to know that the city is taking initiative on that and really working on it because it's really important to all of us. So thank you very much.
Councilman Hastings.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. We'd like to call for the question, please.
Whoa. Previous question's been called. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, will you open the machine? Everyone who voted? Council Lady Blaylock? Madam Clerk, if you'll close the machine and tally the vote.
I have 33 for, 3 against, no abstentions.
Motion carries. Let's see. BL 2017-590, Pulley, Cooper, and others, authorizes the acquisition of real property for the purpose of realigning the intersection of Hillsborough Road with Crestmore Road and Glen Echo Road. Councilman Pulley.
Committee reports, please.
Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted for a 2-meeting deferral as requested by the sponsor.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. At the request of the sponsor, Planning, Zoning, Historical recommends a 2-meeting deferral. 10
Councilman-
in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Public Works recommend a 2-meeting deferral at the urging of the sponsor. 11 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Pulley.
I move to defer 2 meetings.
This motion to defer 2 meetings is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-591, Councilman Sledge, Elrod, and Allen. Abandons and accepts sewer and water mains, sanitary manholes, and easements for property located at 1500 12th Avenue South. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval. 10 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilman Elrod.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Public Works recommend for approval. 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I move for approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-592, Councilman Elrod and Allen authorizes HRT of Tennessee Incorporated to install, construct, and maintain underground encroachments in the right-of-way located at 2011 Hayes Street. Let's see, Councilman Elrod.
Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, and Historical recommended approval. 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommended for approval. 10 in favor, 0 against, with 1 abstention. I move for approval.
Thank you, Councilman. Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-593, Councilman Scott Davis, Elrod, and Allen. Abandons an unnumbered alley right-of-way. Councilman Elrod.
Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval. 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Potts.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Traffic and Parking voted to approve 5-4, 0 against.
Councilman Elrod.
Public Works recommend for approval. 11 in favor, 0 against. Move for approval.
This motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Without objection, we'll move. That brings us to bills on third reading. Without objection, we'll move 476 to the heel. BL 2016-487, Councilman Kendall changes .52 acres from RS5 to SP zoning for property located at 2007 23rd Avenue North to permit up to 7 residential units. Councilman Kendall.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I believe there's an amendment, and I'd like to move the amendment.
Okay, there's a motion to amend. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Your Honor, bill is amended.
I'd like to move the bill as amended.
Let's get our committee report. Council Lady Allen.
Report, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval as amended. 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Kendall.
Move approval as amended.
This motion to approve as amended is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2016-492, Councilman Mendez and Allen. Amends the Metro Code pertaining to short-term rental properties. Councilman Mendez.
I think we've got all the committee approvals. There is one amendment that I'd like to move.
Motion to amend. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Your Honor, your bill is amended.
I'd like to move the bill as amended.
This motion to approve as amended is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2016-496. Councilman Bedney and Allen amends the Metro Code to permit non-electric vehicles, to prohibit non-electric vehicles from parking in electric vehicle charging stations. Councilman Bedney.
I move for approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
BL 2016-500, Council Lady Karen Johnson Cooper and others, authorizes the acquisition of certain easements and property rights for use in public projects for purposes of the Willow Branch Drive sidewalk improvements. Council Lady Karen Johnson. I'm sorry, Council Lady. There you go.
Move for approval.
This motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2016-536, Councilman Kendall changes .12 acres from R6 to ORIA zoning for property located at 407 31st Avenue North. Councilman Kendall. Sorry, Councilman, there you go.
I believe I need a committee report.
I think we've already got that.
No. We have it.
Do we not? Council Lady?
Thank you for that opportunity. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval. 11 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilman Kendall.
Move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2016-537. Councilman Hastings. Changes .12 acres from CL to MUNA zoning for property located at 2214 Gaines Street. Councilman Hastings.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would like committee report, please.
Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical, deferred by rule.
Move to defer. One meeting.
Motion to defer one meeting. Properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2016-538, Councilman Sledge. Amends .95 acres of a preliminary SP for properties located at 1267 and 1271 3rd Avenue South to permit a mixed-use development with up to 89 residential units and a maximum of 8,500 square feet of non-residential uses. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical, recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Sledge.
I'd move for approval.
It's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Excuse me. BL 2016-539, Councilman Withers. Applies 16.21 acres of a contextual overlay for various properties located along Colbert Drive and Shadow Lane, east of Rosebank Avenue. Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Could I get committee reports, please?
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical, recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilman Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Can take the next two together. BL 2017-543 by Council Lady Van Reese amends 9.98 acres of a planned unit development overlay for property located at 1497 Chadwell Drive to permit the addition of 13 multifamily residential units for a maximum of 49 residential units within the overlay. And BL 2017-544, Council Lady Van Reese, changes 9.98 acres from RM4 to RM6 zoning for property located at 1497 Chadwell Drive. Council Lady Van Reese.
Committee report, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical, recommended approval of both bills, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Floor is yours.
I look forward to welcoming some new neighbors and ask your support to approve.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-545, Councilman Pulley. Applies a contextual overlay district to 11.31 acres of various properties along Gray Bar Lane, southeast of the intersection of Drawn Avenue and Granny White Pike. Councilman Pulley.
Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical, recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Thank you, Council Lady.
I move approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-546, Councilman Pulley. Changes 11.31 acres from R10 to RS10 for zoning. I'm sorry. Let's start over. Changes 11.31 acres from R10 to RS10 zoning for various properties located along Gray Bar Lane, southeast of the intersection of Granny White Pike and Drawn Avenue. Councilman Pulley.
Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical, recommended approval of the substitute, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Pulley.
I'd like to introduce a substitute.
This motion to substitute is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. You're on your bill as substituted.
I'd like to move that the substitute be approved.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-547, Councilman Hastings. Changes .49 acres from RS10 to SP zoning for property located at 1822 River Drive to permit 2 residential units. Councilman Hastings. Sorry, Councilman. Thought I turned it on. There you go.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Committee report, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical, deferred by rule.
Councilman Hastings.
I'd like to defer by one meeting.
Motion to defer one meeting. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Can take the next two together. BL 2017-550, Councilman Syracuse cancels 2.52 acres of a planned unit development overlay district for properties located at 2203, 2205A, and 2207 Pennington Bend Road. And BL 2017-551, Councilman Syracuse changes 2.52 acres from OR 20 to R15 zoning for properties located at 2203, 2205A, and 2207 Pennington Bend Road. Councilman Syracuse.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, and Historical recommend approval of both bills, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Syracuse.
I move approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-552, Councilman Hastings. Changes 0.18 acres from IWD to MUNA zoning for property located at 1319 Baptist World Center Drive. Councilman Hastings.
Thank you again, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical deferred by rule.
Councilman Hastings.
Defer by one meeting, please.
Motion to defer is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-553, Council Lady Roberts. Amends 1.37 acres from R6 to SP zoning for properties located at 105 and 107 DeMoss Road and DeMoss Road unnumbered, south of Medina Avenue, close, to permit up to 13 residential units. Council Lady Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against.
Council Lady Roberts.
I'd like to move for approval, please.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-554, Councilman Sledge. Changes 2.28 acres from R6 to SB zoning for properties located at 431 Windgrove Street and 2150 Bynum Avenue to permit up to 80 residential units. Councilman Sledge.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 12 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Sledge.
I move for approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-556, Councilman Hastings. Changes 0.25 acres from RS5 to MULA zoning for properties located at 1221 and 1223 Brick Church Pike. Councilman Hastings.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical deferred by rule.
Councilman Hastings.
I'd like to move to defer one meeting, please, sir.
Motion to defer one meeting. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-558, Council Lady Roberts. Amends 0.45 acres from R8 to SP zoning for property located at 6370 Ivy Street to permit up to 4 residential units. Council Lady Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 12 in favor, 0 against.
Council Lady Roberts.
I'd like to move for approval, please.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-560, Councilman Mendez. Amends the Metro Code regarding exemptions of items constituting anything of value and annual benefit reporting statement disclosures. Councilman Mendez.
All committee reports are in. Move for approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-561, Council Lady Allen. Amends the Metro Code regarding prohibited locations for stopping, standing, and parking vehicles. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-562, Cooper, Allen, and others. Approves an amendment to the lease agreement between Metro Government and Stephen M. Minton and Elaine Minton. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. All the committee reports in. I move for approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-563, Councilman Elrod. Adopts the revised flood insurance rate map to minimize dangers to life and property due to the flooding and to maintain eligibility for participation in the National Flood Insurance Program. Councilman Elrod.
All committee reports in. I move approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-564, Councilman Cooper and Elrod. Accepts a donation of $25,000 from Craighead Development, LLC in the construction of intersection improvements at SR 171 Hobson Pike and Pinhook Road. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. All committee reports in. I move for approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-565. Council Lady Dowell, Cooper, and others. Approves a participation agreement between Metro Government and Century Farms LLC for the construction of public infrastructure improvements. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. All committee reports in for approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-566, Councilman Scott Davis, abandons an existing sewer main and any associated easements and accepts a new sewer and water main and any associated easements in manholes for properties located at 306B, 306, 402, 408, 500, and 0 Cowan Street. Councilman Scott Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
And we've got all our committees in.
Move for approval, please.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-567, Council Lady Henderson, Elrod, and Allen abandons an existing 10-foot wide public utility easement for property located at 629 Bell Park Circle. Council Lady Henderson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. With all committee reports in, I would move approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-568, Councilman Kendall, Elrod, and Allen abandons an existing sanitary sewer main and easement and accepts a new sanitary sewer main and easement, sanitary sewer manholes and properties located at 415 27th Avenue North and 512 26th Avenue North. Councilman Kendall.
With all committee reports in, I move approval.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-569. Councilman O'Connell, Elrod, and Allen abandons existing sewer main and easements and accepts new sewer main manholes and easements for property located at 112, 114, and 118 7th Avenue North. Councilman O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval, please.
Motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-570. Elrod and Allen authorizes Metro Government to accept permanent and temporary easements for the Shady Tree Lane Stormwater Improvement Project for 10 properties located along Shady Tree Lane, Apple Orchard Trail, and Mount View Road. Councilman Elrod.
Even though this is a very shady project, with all committee reports in, I move approval.
Sad pun. There's a motion. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-571, Freeman, Elrod, and Allen authorizes Metro Government to accept permanent and temporary easements for the Collier Avenue Stormwater Improvement Project for 10 properties located along Collier Avenue and Tanksley Avenue. Councilman Freeman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. With all committee reports, I move for approval.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-572, Councilman Elrod and Allen adopts the Geographic Information System Street and Alley Centerline layer with the recordation, naming, additions, and deletions of acceptances and abandonments as the official street and alley acceptance and maintenance record for the Metropolitan Government. Councilman Elrod.
With all committee reports in, I move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-573, Councilman Elrod and Allen changes the name of Avalon Drive to Avalon Lane. Councilman Elrod.
Now that I've renamed every street in Nashville tonight, all committee reports in, I move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. BL 2017-574, Elrod and Allen abandons Overall Street, right-of-way, and easement.
This is the end of my overall package. Move all committee reports in. I move approval.
Motion to approve is properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. I need to go back to. Or did I throw it away? I'm sorry. BL 2016-476, Councilman Scott Davis changes 0.33 acres from RS5 to R6A zoning for property located at 901A Douglas Avenue. Councilman Scott Davis.
Committee reports, please.
Councilman Allen.
Planning, Zoning, Historical recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Move for approval, please, Vice Mayor.
There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. A couple of housekeeping, or at least one housekeeping thing here. Members of council, 3 bills addressing short-term rental properties were filed February 7th and are scheduled for public hearing March 7th. The sponsors of all 3 of these bills have unanimously agreed to reschedule the public hearings on their bills 1 month later on April 4th. I'm supposed to do this too? The 3 bills are as follows. Ordinance BL 2017-608, an ordinance amending sections 17.04.060, 17.08.030, 17.16250, and 17.16.070 of the Metro Code of Laws to establish distinct land uses for short-term rental properties, owner-occupied, and short-term rental property non-owner-occupied, and establishing a phase-out date in year 2021 for short-term rental property non-owner-occupied. That's proposal number 2017-004TX-001. Ordinance number BL 2017-609, an ordinance amending Section 17.16.250E of the Metro Code of Laws to establish a 12-month moratorium on the issuance of new Type 2 and Type 3 short-term rental property permits and permit numbers for properties zoned for single-family and two-family residential uses. That's proposal number 2017-0015TX-001. And ordinance number BL 2017-610, an ordinance amending section 17.16.250E of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to establish a 36-month moratorium on the issuance of Type 2 and Type 3 short-term rental property permits for properties zoned for single-family and two-family residential use. That's proposal number 2017-006TX-001. All in favor of rescheduling BL 2016-608, 609, and 610 for public hearing to April 4th, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And Council Lady Roberts will be marked as abstaining. Motion carries. In a minute. In what is now an extraordinary moment in the history of the Metro Council, which acknowledges the importance of the events which have taken place in our community over the last couple of weeks, we will allow for 20 minutes of uninterrupted comment from the public in regards to the death of Mr. Clemens. Before I begin, and you'll get a timer, so it'll be up there in a second. I would just like to say that on behalf of the Metro Council, we may have struggled a little tonight to get you a chance to be heard. We do appreciate your passion. We hope that you understand that we are working hard for all of Nashville. If you feel like you're not being heard by us, we're here the first and third Tuesday of every month. We're lingering around. Come talk to us. We don't. We're ready. We're ready to listen and to take action to address the problems of our community. And I think I hope you'll allow me to do this and ask that the body take a moment of silence at the beginning to acknowledge the death of Mr. Clemens under very unfortunate circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you will, the clock's going to run for 20 minutes, and it'll stop. At that point, I'm going to acknowledge Councilman Schulman to move for a motion to adjourn. You're more than welcome to stay and talk to council members as long as they're willing to stay after that. But our meeting will come to an end at that point. Thank you.
Thank you. I come here on behalf of tons of community members, and I'm not going to stay up here long. We're going to spread our time, giving some time to the family to come and address the council. We thank you for staying. Thank you for allowing us this time. We took some harsh measures, but they had to be taken. And we thank you for staying. I'm going to allow the family to come up and speak, and then we're going to talk about some demands that we would like and how the council can play a part in making sure that those get met. Thank you.
Hello to everyone. My name is Jonathan, and I'm the first cousin of Jacquees Clemens. And basically, for my family, it's kind of hard because at the end of the day, we want answers. And for the fact that we all know that there are certain guidelines and rules of how police carry themselves, like there are certain guidelines and rules for citizens to carry themselves, what happened to him was basically uncalled for and unheard of. At the end of the day, it shouldn't have went the way it did, considering the fact that there's training going on. And because laws have been passed for open carry and things of that nature, if laws like that are going to get passed, then the training should be looked at where it's different on an approach of a traffic stop or whatever the case may be, just because of. It's no way you're going to tell me that out of everyone in this room, if you lost someone close to you, whether it's a husband, wife, brother, sister, cousin, it doesn't matter, you would want just to know why and what happened. So for me, I can't call him. I can't tell him to come to my house anymore. I can't tell him to do anything that I would do on a normal basis, all because of an officer that, for whatever reason, chose to make a move that he did based on whatever thought pattern that he had. And that's not fair to me as a family member that didn't get to say goodbye or I love you. So yes, I do want questions. I have questions and I want answers, but I'm trying to be mature about it and how I take on it and how I answer it.
How y'all doing tonight? I'm Asia. I'm Jacquees' sister. And the first thing I want y'all to know is I can't sleep at night. I cry myself to sleep every night. I can't even walk around my kitchen because my kitchen is the first place my brother would come to when he came into my home. It's just hard to rest at night. When I close my eyes, I see images of my brother being shot in the back, falling to the ground, getting up, falling to the ground again, and getting up again. That hurts. It really hurts. When I ask why is it taking so long, they say because we have to follow proper procedures. But not one time did that officer follow a procedure properly. I didn't see it. Did y'all see it? Because I didn't. Okay. I guess so. But and another thing I can't understand is how an officer can be fired for pulling over somebody and stealing a Jack Daniels bottle out of the car. All right, for theft, but y'all can't fire a man for cold-blood murder in broad daylight. I do not understand that. But that's all I got to say, because when y'all figure it out, maybe then I'll know the answer. Cold-blood murder, y'all remember that.
Good afternoon. People, y'all know me. I've been fighting Stop the Violence for a long time. Whether it's a police officer or black-on-black crime, violence is violence, gun violence is gun violence. So right now I'm calling out a question for Mr. Coleman. Mr. Coleman, we want to know, we want you to file a binding resolution that would establish a people-organized citizen review board with subpoena power. We will follow your work, we will follow your order, and we would let it be designed and filled by you, from you, but we will also do what we need to do to help you. So you don't have to answer that tonight, but we are bringing this to you. All we want is justice. We want justice for this family. We want to know what is the protocol for the next training of a police officer when he pull over somebody else and they start running. Could you let them run because they're going to eventually run into some more trouble sooner or later? Or you could call a backup for the next block down. You don't have to take upon yourself to try to shoot nobody that's running from you. And everybody already know, every time you look around, it's always, I fear for my life. He had a gun. Hell, all of us carrying a gun, whether it's permit or not. And it is not fair that my black boys have to fear every time they get pulled over. It done come to the point now that I fear when I get pulled over by the police. So yeah, we got enough black on black crime that I'm out here fighting, but now I'm gonna have to add a police on crime with the black boys that we're fighting. And when I found out this is not the first, this was the first police shooting. But when I found out it was not the first, then that what made me say, we're gonna stand up and we're gonna speak out. So we don't want to tear nothing down. We don't want to burn nothing down. We just want justice to come down.
Council, my name is Chauncey Moore. Today, I look at each and every last one of you. I look at you because, for one, you are who we talk to when we have problems. Now, I'm very aware that each and every last one of y'all in this room is aware of some of the problems that we have going on in this city. Right now, you see me physically here talking to you. But just like me, no matter what color I am, I could one day not be here. For me to one day know that I cannot be here is something that triggers something in my mind that tells me all the time, what is it that I'm going to do to stay here? I am not God, nor or any of you, but I will honestly say you have the power to do something that many can't do. Today, not only me, but these people behind me, these people in these housing projects, and everywhere on these streets that are not torn down from the old Nashville. We have problems and we need help. Now, it is only so many times that we are willing to come and talk to you and ask you for the guidance, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we need. It's not only a people, but a culture. If you cannot help us, let us know and get out of our way. We are asking this time, but we cannot continue to ask because we are tired. Myself as a black man in general, I am tired. I have many restless days and many restless nights thinking about what am I going to do next? Not only looking for a job, not only providing for my family, but wondering if my past is going to come back to haunt me. Today, I'm not willing to let my past come back to haunt me anymore. I'm willing to stand up, and I'm hoping if I don't touch every last one of y'all in here, at least one of y'all will have the courage to stand up and do what is right. Right is a thing that many of us don't know. Right is a thing that many of us are taught. When you come to our neighborhoods, as many of you all probably have been, we live in a jungle. When I say a jungle, a man was shot in the back. Did y'all hear me? Y'all understood me? A man was shot in the back. Just like she said, like an animal. So if you see me, if one of your officers see me, and my back is to them, how do I pose a threat? Answer me this. If I'm going to shoot someone, don't you think I would need to look at them? Don't I have to see exactly where I'm going to point a gun to shoot you? Look, I can't talk to y'all all night, and some of y'all won't listen to me. But at the end of the day, Some of y'all are going to hear us because we're not shutting up. Vice Mayor, I talk directly to you because I ask you and Megan Berry to not only have the TBI investigate this case, but if the federal government need be, please allow. Results are what we need. Excuses is not what we want. We cannot continue to let you all give us excuses. Now, I am well aware that none of you all in here are willing to pass judgment on something that you have not seen the police report for. Have no problem with it. I'm pretty sure a lot of my counterparts do but don't. But I will say this. What is right is right. And what is wrong, no matter the color of your skin. We do things based off of actions. My actions will lead me to prison. My actions will lead me to your jail on Harding Place. But what does doing the right thing lead me? Have y'all thought about that? Seriously. There are a lot of tired people in this city, and as you have heard it before, it's only so much that we can take and we are willing to take. I'm gone.
I want to cover one of our demands, which is stopping the occupation of Casey Homes and other public housing in Nashville. Every single day I went to Casey last week, there were several cars pulled over every single time I went, multiple cars pulled over. As I was talking to residents, they tell me about the harassment that has increased since the killing, and honestly, the presence of the police is not going to help. Sending extra officers to Casey at this point in time is not going to help. That will never solve the issues that are at hand. So I want to talk specifically about that. I had a resident tell me this weekend that an officer on the Metro Nashville Police Department under you, Chief Anderson, told him that he was walking too much. Walking. If you are walking up and down your street that you live at home, there shouldn't be any issue. These people live there. They are heavily surveillanced. They are heavily policed, and it is not right. Nashville has neglected public housing for far too long. MDHA has a partnership with MMPD, and it is not right. It needs to cease. This is an occupation, and we refuse to allow this to continue to happen. Thank you.
To Councilman Sam Coleman, I'm here to reinforce the People Organized Civilian Review Board with subpoena power. And thank you. I want to make sure that it is clear that we don't want you to write it for us, but we want to work with you to make that happen. Last time I was here, I talked about how the police is trying to get money to beef up their militarized police. And you all laughed at me. I was standing right here. And now here we are, again, I'm standing here. Now I got my clergy collar on because there's a family at mourning because you all failed to heed the call. And I'm going to be clear because I was going to be, nice and a nice church boy. But it's really unfortunate that we have a house nigger like Councilman Hastings who would sell out his own black community just for a spot on somebody's news channel. This is your doing, Councilman Hastings. This is your anti-blackness at work. This is what it means to be a house nigga and an Uncle Tom. This is what you have created. So the people are demanding a civilian review board with subpoena power, not tomorrow, but yesterday.
My name is Joseph Sheeran. I'm here to speak to demand number 5. I've spoken to some of you on the council about the feasibility of this demand. One thing I keep hearing is, are there places elsewhere in the country that have implemented civilian review boards? The answer is yes. Google was helpful. We are specifically asking that this be an entirely civilian review board, independent of any police oversight. In fact, overseeing the police. We are asking that this review board have investigative power, including subpoena power. And the answer to your question that you're thinking is yes, this already exists in the country. Minneapolis, Berkeley, California, Portland, Oregon, Washington, D.C. Actually, they might not have subpoena, but there's a number of cities. You can research this. I encourage you to go home and Google it. And if you're wondering if this is going to cost a lot of money, again, a lot of these cities are able to do this with only a handful of part-time or full-time staff. The city of Portland, I think, was able to review 70 cases for an annual cost of only $40,000, which is less than I make in a year. And indeed, many of these places are able to review these cases at a cost of less than $600 of taxpayer money per case. It's worth doing, it's affordable, it's not prohibitive, we should be doing it already. Thank you.
Council members, Chief Anderson, this family needs to know what the police report of the murder of Jacquees Clemens looks like. The chief of police and the initial video release misled the mayor and the public. Joshua Lippard's record and the murder of Jacquees speaks for itself. He needs to be relieved of his duties. Where is the Force Review Board from his previous internal disciplinary actions, and why aren't they available to the public? These demands need to be legislated. People organize Civilian Review Board with subpoena power. We reject the mayor, the chief of police, any appointed individual sitting in the board to eliminate any potential conflicts of interest. The preachers no longer speak for us. The mayor, the chief of police, and the PR machine need to stop privately brokering public interest and safety. We can speak for ourselves. Whoever is defining public safety in these committee meetings needs to talk to us, because we are not safe. The people living in Casey are not safe. And all the people who are living in public housing are not safe. And let's be very clear, the funding that was invested into MNPD that contributes to the occupation of Casey and other public housing comes directly from this legislative body. The surveillance cameras, the helicopters, the riot gear, that was all approved in this chamber. The mayor, the council, the MNPD are all fully responsible for creating the climate that led to Jacquees Clemens' murder and the other countless people who are criminalized and locked out of society permanently. Thank you.
I need to add one more thing. Today at my job, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he basically told me his 10-year-old son didn't want to go to school. And it kind of confused me because I'm like, he's 10. Well, he said that in talking to his son, he didn't know if his daddy he was going to see his dad after school or not. I thought that was a real big problem. And he said, you know, for things that are happening to people like you in his 10-year-old term, he said, I don't think that I'll get to see you again if I get out the car. It took him to almost 45 minutes to get his son out the car. So I want everybody here to ask themselves, how does that sound to you? That a 10-year-old is that worried that they might not see their father again because of situations like this? Just a thought.
Council members, I come to speak to you as someone who lives in Hillsborough West End, as a white woman who is admittedly a very bad driver, who has never, ever gotten stopped by Nashville police. And so we know that the stopping of folks who are Black and Hispanic in this community is not about safer roads or about crime. It's about policing Blackness and brownness in our community. And so I'm here to demand, as part of the Justice for Jacquees Coalition, that we get body cameras now, because Mayor Megan Barry pledged support of body cameras during her mayoral election 2 years ago. And Mayor Barry and Chief Anderson have publicly proposed to allocate money, and they have allocated that money for body cameras, and we still do not have body cameras on officers. In September 2016, despite pressure to move forward swiftly with body cameras, Mayor Barry's administration instead contributed $1 million towards ballistic armor for police. This administration has made it clear where their priorities are. We want body cameras, and we want them now. And we want them now.
There's just about a minute and 45 seconds left.
Okay, well, I want to let y'all know, I live 2 blocks from Casey, and I'm a very hard-working woman. I actually still have my work pants on from my first job, but I changed my shirt so that I could go to my second job. And this week right here, I have to quit my second job because I need justice for my brother versus the money. But I'm still going to get my children out of East Nashville. I'm going to get my children off of MDHA property. But I just want y'all to know how I have to let this go because I can't sleep at night. And I don't have justice for my brother. Y'all sleep on that.
Our main, one of our top demands to me is fire the officer that killed Mr. Clemens. Hypothetically speaking, if the officer was a black man that killed a white man, he would have been without a job. So that's one of my top things, to fire that officer. Thank you.
Very quickly, y'all, this is the it city. It's a hot city. Y'all are on the hot seat. Martin Luther King said, rioting is the voice of the unheard. The people feel unheard. Do something, or the people will. God bless you.
Thank you for allowing us time to come and speak to you. I hope something penetrated your heart and is turning wheels in your head about what can be done. We are here saying we are committed to making sure that this happens. So we are not going to sleep. We are not going to stop coming back. We do want to respect your process, but at the end of the day, we are wanting to make sure that this is a collaboration. And so we thank you for your time.
Councilman Schulman, hold on, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I would
But before I can address you, Mr. Schulman, there's one thing I do want to add. I have known Councilman Hastings for a little while now, and he has never claimed to be perfect. Now, whatever his faults are, he did not deserve to be insulted like he was tonight. And I hope that on behalf of, I hope that on behalf of the city of Nashville, he will accept my apology. Councilman Schulman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I would move to adjourn the meeting.
We are adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.